So this video, we're going to talk about graphing those quartiles. And we're going to use what's called the Box-and-Whisker plot, which is made from what we call the 5-number summary. And so when we talk about the 5-number summary or the Box-and-Whisker plot, the 5-number summary is made up of the minimum value and the max value. So the minimum extends, we extend a whisker or a line from a box to the minimum value and to a max value. The box itself starts at Q1 and is completed at Q3. And then the median sits somewhere inside the box. And remember, the distance from Q1 to Q3, that's called the IQR, and it sits inside of here. And again, the IQR represents the middle 50% of the data. So we've already found the values for this data set. But just to recap what we found, we know our minimum value is 18. We know our Q1, or we know that the maximum value is equal to 91. We know that Q1, or the median we found next, was equal to 45. And then Q1 was equal to 33. And Q3 was equal to 52. So here's how we graph this particular graph. On here, we look at, remember, we extend the whisker to the smallest value. And so our whisker is going to go to 18. And then our largest value is 91. The box itself starts at Q1. So our Q1 is at 33. And we're going to extend that to our Q3, which is at 52. Inside of here is the median at 45. And then we're going to draw the other whisker all the way to the very end to 91, like this. So again, I'm going to label these values as 1891. This is Q1 at 33. This is 45. And this is 52. Now, we've already said, though, you notice here, the whisker on the right is a lot longer than any other whisker than the whisker on the left. And we've already said that from the data we drew, we know that 91 is an outlier. So this right here is called it's what we call a skeletal box plot, or box and whisker. And what that means is it does not show outliers. So this does not show outliers. However, we can make a box and whisker that does show outliers. And when a box and whisker does show outliers, here's what happens. We're going to take wherever our outliers are, which is in this case 91, and we're going to put a dot at that particular value. So we're going to make what's called a modified box plot. And a modified box plot, instead of drawing the whisker all the way to the outlier, at the outlier, we're going to put a dot. So our outlier is at 91. And then we're going to sketch the whisker to the largest value in the data set, which 91 is the outlier. So we sketch the largest value in the data set that is not an outlier, which in this case is 57. So our whisker now being modified comes out to here. And that's at 57. And so what happens now is, depending on what side you have it on, if the outlier is out here, this tells me that this right now, a dot, means that this is an outlier. If I had it on this side, it would do the exact same thing. We would draw the dot to wherever the outlier is, and then look at the data set and look at the smallest value that is not an outlier. So just like we talk about with histograms, we can also see the shape of data from a box and whisker plot. And what you're looking at is, you're looking at the tail length of each box and whisker to determine the shape. So remember, in the left skew distribution, the mean is less than the median. In the right skew, the mean is equal to the median. I'm sorry, in the symmetric, the mean is equal to the median. In the right skew, the mean is greater than the median. So you're looking at tail length. If we look at our box plot, when we modified it, the tail length looks the same. But remember when it was skeletal, that tail length was way out here? And that's because this is a right skew distribution. Even in a modified distribution, you can tell that this is right skew because of the outlier. The outlier will always skew the data in its direction. So even if you have a modified box plot like this where it's showing outliers, your outliers tell you the direction of the skew. If it's not modified and it's skeletal, then you look at the tail length. The longer the tail, that tells you what type of skew it is.